What? Chief Eze is gone? Your husband have been arrested by the police for the murder of Chief Eze. That night, Flora could not sleep well because of the situation Joseph was into. She stayed up through the night, thinking of how to get a good lawyer that would defend Joseph in court. What is wrong with that DPO? Can't he do proper investigation before accusing someone? Flora complained, being angry. Tomorrow is Saturday and I'll be visiting Sarah. Let me go to bed early. The next morning, Flora went to the hospital to see how Sarah, her newborn baby, was doing. Your baby is doing very well and growing fast, the doctor said. Oh, my Sarah, I can't wait for you to see your father, Flora said. By next month, you will take her home, the doctor said. Thank you, doctor. The doctor assured Flora that by next month, she will be able to take little Sarah home. And Flora was thankful and she couldn't wait for Joseph, her husband, to see his child. That day, Flora searched everywhere she could to look for a good lawyer, but the ones she found demanded high price for the job, and Flora does not have such amount of money to pay a lawyer. Sir, please, lower the price a little. The money you are demanding for this case is too high, Flora said. Mrs. Flora, this your husband case is no joke. This case is huge. A murder case for that matter. I'm sorry, but this is my final price. The amount of money the lawyer was demanding from Flora was 10 million naira, and Flora or her husband does not have that type of money. My God, my husband, who is just an ordinary delivery man, where will I see that kind of money? Hello Grace, I'm tired. What kind of suffering is this? Don't say that, Flora. Where are you? I'm at the roadside. I don't know what to do anymore, Flora said. Just come home and we will talk, okay? When Flora left the lawyer's office that morning, she started talking to herself on the road like someone who have lost her mind. She didn't know what to do next, and even after she finished talking to Grace, she still continued walking on the road and talking to herself without paying attention on the road, and she was hit by a car that very moment. Flora was on the ground, gasping for air. She couldn't move as she was weak. The woman who hit her quickly took Flora to the nearest hospital. Doctor, the woman shouted. Flora was in a really bad condition when the doctor saw her. My goodness, what happened? The doctor said. And the woman said, It was an accident. She just rushed in without looking. It's okay, the doctor said. We will try our best, but by the look of it, her condition is critical, the doctor said. I will take care of the bills for the treatment. All I want is for her to be okay, the woman said. Meanwhile, Grace was waiting for Flora at home so that they can discuss about getting a good lawyer for her husband's case, not knowing that Flora had an accident. Why is Flora taking long to get home? It's over 3 hours since I spoke to her on the phone. Did she go and see another lawyer? Well, let me call her again. Grace called Flora's phone 5 times, but she didn't pick. However, on the 7th time, it was the doctor that was treating Flora that took the call. Finally you picked up. Where are you? Flora, I have been waiting for you at home. I thought you said you were coming. Don't tell me you branched somewhere else, Grace said. And the doctor answered, Hello, I am Dr. Johnson. I'm afraid Flora is not able to talk right now. And Grace said in shock, What? What do you mean Flora can't speak? She didn't tell me she was going to the hospital. Or is she seeing a baby? Grace asked. And the doctor said, Oh, you haven't heard? Heard what? Grace asked, being curious. And the doctor said, Flora was brought in by a lady. She had an accident, and as Grace heard what the doctor said at that very moment, she was shocked immediately. She said, What? This can't be happening. Please doctor, which hospital is she being treated? She is at St. John Hospital, the doctor said. Okay doctor, I'm on my way. After Grace finished talking to the doctor on the phone, she went straight to St. John Hospital to see Flora. God, how can this be? Flora, at a time like this, what is happening? Why this time? Good morning, nurse. I want to see a patient here. Her name is Flora. She's at Ward 3, the nurse said. And the nurse took Grace to the room where Flora is being treated. Oh my God, Flora. Grace cried when she saw Flora at first glance. Flora was unconscious when Grace saw her. Doctor, what is the situation? Grace asked the doctor as she weeps. She is in coma, but we have taken every measures to make sure that she recovers, but this condition is 50-50, the doctor said. What? What do you mean 50-50? She sustained a lot of injuries and it's really critical, the doctor said. And Grace asked the doctor of the person who caused the accident. However, when the doctor told her, Grace grabbed her immediately and said, "Look what you have done. Do you know what she have been through?" And the woman said, "It wasn't my fault. She walked into the road without looking." And Grace said, "My God, how do I tell this to her husband?" And Grace gave the doctor a phone number and she said, "Doctor, please do your best. I must go and inform her husband of this situation. Please, doctor, call me if you need anything. I will be back soon, okay?" And Grace left the hospital that morning and went to the police station to see Joseph, Flora's husband. "Officer, good morning. I want to speak to Joseph. It's urgent." And the police officer said, "That man again? You only have 5 minutes with him." And when Grace went to the cell, she said, "Joseph." She called him with a sad voice. "Grace, you are here. Why are you sad? Where is my wife?" Joseph asked. Flora, she's in the hospital. She had an accident." And Joseph was shocked immediately. "What? How?" "It was when she was walking on the road." "Oh my goodness. Officer! Officer!" Joseph shouted, calling out the officer in the police station to get their attention. "This man, why are you shouting?" the officer said. "Get me out of here. I need to see my wife." "Shut up, this evil man. You will go to jail. Just watch and see," the police officer said. And Joseph cried. He wept and wept and wept, as there was nothing he could do. "I told the doctor I will be back. I need to go and be with her now," Grace said. "Please, Grace, watch her for me. I thank you so much for your kindness," Joseph said. And while Grace was going back to the hospital, she received a phone call from the doctor that Flora is dead. And Grace stepped on the brake after hearing what the doctor said on the phone. She couldn't breathe properly. She started using her hands to hit the steering wheel of her car because of the pain she felt in her heart. And after that moment, Grace went to the hospital to see Flora. And when she saw Flora on the bed, she cried and said, "I swear on this day, Flora, I shall take care of Sarah. I shall protect her and get your husband out of prison." Oh, Flora. Grace vowed in the presence of Flora's body that she would take care of Sarah, her baby, and she would get her husband out of prison. And she cried so much that she could not control her tears. Grace went back to the police station at night to inform Joseph what had happened to his late wife, Flora. Flora's passing was the most shocking of all Joseph have ever experienced. A woman that Joseph wanted to grow old with. A woman whom Joseph wanted to spend more time with. However, life wasn't fair to him. Your Honor, my client, Mr. Joseph, is just an ordinary delivery man who happened to be caught in that moment. According to my investigation, he was delivering some items when he was pulled over by the police. And to his surprise, the chief was found in his car, Your Honor. And looking at Mr. Joseph, I don't think he can do such a thing. And the lawyer of the family of the late Chief Eze said, Your Honor, if I may speak, Yes, speak. A person cannot be judged by just looking at them, Your Honor. They can look innocent, but deep inside their heart, it's the very core of evil, Your Honor. At 9 p.m, the chief was sitting outside his house when he was abducted, and according to eyewitnesses, he was taken inside a red vehicle by some group of men. And Your Honor, all evidence points towards Mr. Joseph, because the car Chief Eze's body was found was inside his car, and not only that, the color of the car matches exactly the eyewitness as described. Thank you, Your Honor. And the judge said, Mr. Joseph, all evidence have pointed towards you. So do you testify to this evidence and accept your judgment? And Joseph said, Your Honor, I am innocent. I plead not guilty to the crime. And at that moment, the family of the late Chief Eze started murmuring and shouting, You liar! You did it! Just say the truth and let us have justice. And the judge shouted, Order! Order! This is the court of law. Mr. Joseph have pleaded not guilty to the crime, so therefore further investigation shall be carried out. And for the time being, Mr. Joseph shall remain in prison until his next trial. Thank you. And as they were taking Joseph back to his cell, the family of the late chief was raining curses on Joseph, telling him that he shall spend his entire life in prison.